Just seemed like the damage kept going and going and going. It was amazing.
As the team investigates, they determined that the damage was done not by one, but by 2 tornadoes. Fujita would later determine that these 2 tornadoes were part of a whole family of 9 tornadoes, causing a path of destruction nearly 260 miles long in Illinois and Indiana. Between April and July, the researchers visit many locations, including Brandenburg and Louisville, Kentucky, Xenia, Ohio, and Limestone County, Alabama. Fujita's goal is to rank each of the 148 tornadoes in terms of wind speed and strength.
When he went to Brandenburg, he was interested in a cemetery. He could calculate the mass of a headstone. If it was moved, it took a certain force to do that. So he could try to make an estimation of the wind speed, whatever it took to move that block of granite.
Fujita is also seeking to prove a theory he has been developing about tornadoes. He believes that instead of containing one funnel, tornadoes consist of multiple vortices. While proving the theory, Fujita and Forbes benefit from the use of a new technology, personal movie cameras. Citizens document the disasters as they unfold and share the images with scientists.
They were flooded with all these pictures of the actual storms moving. There's several little vortexes, funnels rotating around, and they caught all this on video.
One movie in particular, of Xenia, Ohio, was taken by a 16-year-old, Bruce Boyd. He filmed the tornado as it was just beginning to carve a 32-mile path through the heart of his hometown. Frame by frame, Fujita studies the film and can see it had multiple vortices.
It showed a very, very tiny suction vortex within it revolving about the pair of tornadoes. We certainly saw evidence of these suction vortices in most of the tornadoes.
Fujita's discoveries are revolutionary. His research brings about the development of new technology and communication systems. These developments lead to faster ways to predict tornadoes and ultimately save lives. Fujita's research in 1974 also serves as a springboard for the F-scale, which links damage and wind speed. As weather science evolves, his scale is revised in 2007 to better reflect a tornado's destructive power. But there is no question that without his research, there might not be a system at all. Over the next decade, old radar technology is phased out. By the mid-1980s, the National Weather Service implements a newer radar system nationwide called Doppler.
You can actually see winds within these thunderstorms, and that's what is so critical in order to be able to tell if, say, there's going to be damaging winds or if a tornado is forming within the storms.
This is a dish that sends out a signal, a very large signal, into a thunderstorm, and then it bounces back. The thunderstorm will actually bounce back a portion of that signal. That's what allows us to actually see the intensity of the rainfall, and this is the key thing, seeing the actual speed and motion of the storm particles within the thunderstorm.
Today, there's a new generation of radar. NEXRAD is a national network of 153 high-resolution Doppler weather radars operated by the National Weather Service.
Well, the radars that we're seeing here today are off the scale compared to what we could see back in the 70s. I can zoom into a particular storm quite easily, and then I can get up close and personal with a particular storm. You couldn't do that back then. That's a circulation within the thunderstorm. That's indicative that that thunderstorm is producing damaging winds and likely producing a tornado. That's the kind of thing that we look for to issue warnings. That's the kind of thing that did not exist years ago.
The super tornado outbreak not only exposes radar deficiencies, but communication failures as well. In 1974, weather radio transmission is extremely limited.
There were only 50 to 60 transmitters across the entire nation, and most of those were in marine locations.
National Weather Service in Shreveport.
In 1979, Congress approves funding for the installation of a 330-station weather radio network.
That allowed us to actually give warnings to people even in the middle of the night.
Over the years, the network grows to about 1,000 stations nationwide. In 1979, the National Weather Service replaces teletype machines with computers. Today, meteorologists use state-of-the-art equipment to supply forecasts. The internet also revolutionizes how people access weather information.
Anyone with a high-speed internet connection can have more data on their home computer today than any forecaster in any office had in 1974 during the super outbreak.
These advances in technology and communications have clear results. The average warning lead time for tornadoes increases to 13 minutes.
Most tornadoes were on the ground before we had a warning out in 1974. To go from having no warning at ground zero in 1974 to having minutes lead time to the very first touchdown of a tornado is phenomenal.
Those advanced warnings save lives. Annual death tolls in the triple digits were more common in the 1950s and earlier. In recent years, it's been closer to 60 fatalities per year. In 2008, the country's preparedness would be tested by another deadly outbreak. In 2008, a deadly tornado outbreak hits the U.S. and tests the technological innovations that resulted from the 1974 super outbreak. February 5th. It is presidential primary day in much of the country. That afternoon, multiple tornadoes hit Arkansas, Tennessee, and the Mississippi River Valley.
It's known as the Super Tuesday outbreak. There were numerous tornadoes that day.
87 tornadoes break out. At least 57 people are killed, hundreds injured. On Super Tuesday, people had advanced warning, about 16 minutes. As a result, the death toll is smaller than that of 1974. Had it occurred before the advent of new technology, far more people might have died.
A tornado outbreak of this intensity and this magnitude probably would have resulted in over 400 fatalities.
In Louisville, Kentucky, after the 1974 tornado destroyed their home, George and Ann Underhill started a construction company to restore their neighborhood.
We felt that we were doing a positive thing for the community as well as starting a new venture in our life.
In Xenia, Ohio, churches and schools have been constructed to resist tornado winds. State laws put in place after the 1974 super outbreak require that school districts have tornado drills and teach children what to do in the event of a tornado. And towns across the country have installed tornado warning sirens.
Now we have a magnificent early warning system for weather alerts, and that's in large part due to the experience that we had in 1974.
For Maureen Clark, the Xenia tornado taught her to be watchful of the weather.
We look for how winds are shifting. We really listen to what the forecasters are saying to us.
In Alabama, Spencer Black took the lead in making Limestone County as tornado-ready as possible.
We can assist people, we got resources, so you could say that this county went from nothing to being the best.
Many who lived through the outbreak feel protected by the new weather technology.
You can watch your TV, you can look at radar systems. They can tell you when a tornado is coming, and you got so much time now where we didn't have time back then.
Donnie's wife, Felisa, however, isn't taking any chances.
No more going out during stormy weather, none.
While all the technology in the world is no guarantee of survival, there is no doubt it can keep people safer.
The more information you have, the better decisions you can make, and the better you can keep your family and your loved ones safe.